Hey guys, welcome back. We are live with the Russo brothers as Avengers Endgame is about to come out on digital and Blu-ray. Guys, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having us. Thanks.
I gotta say, my number one question right now is, for once, Tom Holland did not spoil a single thing about the movie that I'm aware of.
You can at this point, right?
Yeah, but I mean, going into it, I feel like the Infinity War press tour, he was saying things left and right.
Yeah, it's interesting. Well, we couldn't put him on the tour because he was gone, so that was a bonus, I think.
Maybe that's why.
That's what it was.
He's young, forgive him.
we always forgive Tom Holland. But I love that you guys, I guess, told him that by the way, we're going to be talking Avengers spoilers. I feel like I still have to say that.
If you haven't seen it, stop watching.
Yeah, stop watching, but then come back.
Yeah.
You guys told him that the funeral scene was actually a wedding.
We told everyone that.
Yeah?
Yes, I mean, look, there were a lot of people that we had to coordinate with to pull that scene off. Obviously, there was an incredible amount of movie star wattage in that scene, and they all have agents and managers and publicists and hair and makeup, and so we needed to sort of a code for what we were shooting so that it wouldn't leak.
But it was actually the perfect lie, because it was like, what other event would everybody show up in formal garb for,
right?
Other than a funeral or a wedding?
So when did they piece it together? Were they like, why are we all wearing black?
I think when they got into their
that
outfits,
morning,
yes. We walked them out there. We pulled them all. We were on the shore of this lake, and we pulled them all together and said, "Listen, here's what's really going on in the scene. This is a memorial for Tony, and this is what we're going to do." And they're actors, so they can switch it on and off. And they all said, "All right, we get it. Great. Here's what we're going to do," and got that incredible shot.
Did they know at that point that Tony was that was going to be his final film? Like, had they already known about that scene?
No. I mean, that was, again, everyone was finding out in the moment outside of maybe Gwyneth.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. And by the way, when we shot that, we hadn't actually shot the moment of his death. So nobody, even the other actors that were involved around that moment, hadn't actually experienced it on a dramatic level yet. So it's still more of like an intellectual idea to the actors on the day that we shot the funeral. But again, like Joe was saying, it was like an acting class. You give them the premise, and they run with it.
Yeah, they do their jobs. Yeah. Why didn't Natasha get a funeral?
Well, Natasha has another movie coming.
I've heard this.
Tony does not have another movie coming.
Right.
So when you're dealing with storytelling real estate in a 3-hour movie, there's only so much of it. When someone else has another film coming, there's always the opportunity to bring closure in that other movie. And in this movie, we had to bring closure to Tony Stark.
Got it. At the end, I think the moment I probably cried the most was when Cap gives the shield to Falcon and kind of hands the reins off to him. I'm curious to know why Steve Rogers chose him as his successor over Bucky.
It's a great question, and I know in the books, it's gone both ways. But I think what it had to do with was, the connection that he had with Sam Wilson, the character that Anthony Mackie plays. It's just having that common background as military men, that sort of humility, that willingness to serve. I think he had a strong connection there. And by the way, we always say Bucky's got a damaged brain. I don't know if you want to turn over a weapon as powerful as the shield to somebody like him.
That's true.
Yeah.
I think some fans were wondering, like, hey, how come they didn't actually get their moment on that bench? Did you guys toy with maybe having Bucky and Steve have a conversation there at the end?
I mean, they actually had their moment before Steve got onto the platform. If you go back and watch the movie, there's a goodbye moment there. Clearly, they have talked about this prior to the arrival in the scene.
On a first viewing, you may not necessarily appreciate the importance of that moment between Cap and Bucky.
But there's a lot of subtlety there in them saying goodbye to one another.
I got the vibe that he knew that he was going to do that.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I know that Falcon and Winter Soldier are kind of going off and doing another adventure on Disney Plus. Is that something, you guys were very integral to their relationship, is that something you guys would be interested in contributing to in the future?
Well, we love Marvel. I mean, we would do anything with them. They're like family to us now. We're so close with everyone there, and we've had the greatest working experience of our lives there. We'd work on anything they asked us to work on. I think in the moment we're focusing on our own studio. It's called Agbo, and we've got a bunch of projects that are coming out in the next few months that we've got to focus our energy on. So that's where our attention is at the moment.
Yeah, that kind of leads to my next question is what does the next chapter look like for you guys? And I know you guys kind of talked in the panel about some of the stuff that you guys have coming up, but can you fill us in?
Well, on a directing level, which is sort of the most central to like what we do, is a movie called Cherry, which is a movie based on a novel by Nico Walker that we read about a couple years ago that we fell in love with. And it's about an Iraqi war veteran, set about 10, 12 years ago, comes back from the war suffering from PTSD, starts to get prescribed opioids, and that snowballs into an addiction that turns into a sort of a bank robbing spree to feed that addiction. And it's a story that's very personal to Joe and I. We've had experiences with loved ones with the opioid problem, and it's also set in Cleveland, where we're from. The novel is very much in the neighborhood where we grew up, so we have a lot of personal connections to the story. We felt it was very important to tell, and we couldn't be more excited that Tom Holland wants to bring it to the screen with us.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys are just going to keep working with those actors over and over again, huh?
Yeah, I mean, we've all been through the fire together. We've forged, Joe and I, we work as a team. So the process of collaboration is front and center with everything we do. And we pull everybody that we work with into that process of collaboration that we have. So we form very strong bonds with people. And yeah, you'll see moving forward, we have a lot of exciting projects with the actors we've been working with.
Yeah, I was wondering because I think a lot of people read into all your guys' Instagram posts, and you guys joke about certain collaborations, but do you have any more coming up or a dream collaboration that you'd like to have?
I mean, we'd certainly like to find another project with Robert Downey, Chris Evans, Scarlett, so we're talking all the time. I mean, we're all friends now. We see each other at dinners that we have every now and then, and we're always throwing ideas around. I play fantasy football with Evans. We're texting all the time.
Oh,
so,
cool.
When you stay in close contact with each other, that's how projects form. Hey, we're working on something. Do you want to take a look at it? Or, hey, I just found the script I love. Will you look at it to direct for me? And so, the conversation goes both ways. And we come from a big Italian family, so it's important to us to, create an extended family in the film business.
Right, and you kind of touched on this earlier that you would probably say yes to Marvel if they came to you guys again, because I think a lot of fans are wondering, is Endgame kind of your Endgame with Marvel?
For now it is.
Yeah, I mean, we had a really intense, we've been, for 7 straight years, we worked our complete focus on Marvel films. From the time we were hired on to Winter Soldier to the time we brought Endgame to audiences. So that was a really intense 7 years for us, and it was among the best 7 years of our lives. But yeah, we're taking a moment now where we're looking at other things. We're taking the capital that we built up from the Marvel films and using it to tell important stories that we think are really maybe more difficult to get through the system, like Cherry, but they're very important to tell and bring to audiences.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Another thing you guys posted was when you were teasing your Hall H panel, the 101 rap was in the background, and a lot of people were wondering if a Community movie could possibly happen or if that was going to be talked about this weekend.
I mean, never say never, We would love to see it happen as much as anyone. All we owe is the movie at this point. So, if we want to complete the 6 seasons in a movie mantra. So who knows? It would certainly require getting Donald, who's got a very busy schedule, back for at least a short period of time.
Yeah. Well, I will never give up on the Community movie.
Cool,
well, thank you guys so much. So great to talk to you guys. Stick with the stream. We will be back.